So here we are in Lightroom Classic version 11.3.1, and I'm going to show you the difference, or show you my workflow of using collections, not folders. And please, there's no right or wrong way of doing things in Lightroom and Lightroom Classic and in photography, full stop. It's an opinion. It's a way of sharing knowledge that I offer these videos on. In my 12 years or so I've been using Lightroom Classic, the workflow that I've produced. So the first thing I do is I'll open my collections, and Lightroom and Lightroom Classic work in alphanumerical order. So A, B, C, A will be at the top of the list. 1, 2, 3, 1 will be at the top of the list. So I have images here. 1, I want that to be at the top, and I'm going to create a collection set. Now I know I'm going to import some birds, so I'm just going to call it birds. Now I could put 1-birds. Let's do that. Okay, it's going to appear in the image collection. So I'm creating a collection set, so it's a folder, and I want it to be at the top of that folder structure. So by putting 1, it's at the top. Okay, so I'll go create, and there is my collection set. Now within there I'm going to create a collection. So I'm going to go create collection. I'm working neater and tidier. I'm putting everything together. So 1, because I want it at the top, all imported images. Okay, now for me, I always sync this collection, my imported images, to the cloud. Why do I do that? Nice and straightforward. I don't want to be sitting here at my computer. I might want to do a workflow on the way home on a train, or perhaps in a different location, sitting in front of the TV, watching some TV with the family, and I might just want to sit there with my phone and colour a few images, pick and rejecting, 5-starring them, or just having a quick edit or something like that. So I will sync all my images to the cloud. Now, because these are smart previews, they don't count towards your storage. Okay, anything that you create and sync here from Classic to Lightroom does not count towards your storage as long as it's from a collection. So we go create. So if I expand that, there we go. We can see all imported images. I want it at the top of my list, and I've synced it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit import, and it's going to open up the import dialog, and there's all my images. These are stock images of some blue tits from the UK, and on the left hand side is where they are, middle is what I'm going to do with them, and then where they're going to end up and what they're going to be in Lightroom. So the thing I need to make sure is I tick under file handling, which is the first panel, top right hand corner, add to collection, and I'm going to add it to the collection I just created, all images. I'm not going to go into any other import settings. I've got another video and a workshop all about working smarter, not harder on import. So now I'm just going to hit import. So there we go, they're imported them. There was no raw files, and this is a default dialog which you can tick, do not show again, but as this is my training catalog, I'll allow that to say. And there's the images imported. Now I'm going to hand you over to my sponsor for this video. Yes, and you're right, that sponsor is me. I don't know if you know, I host on a Monday evening, 7 PM UK time, a support group for Lightroom and Lightroom Classic, where most weeks we on Zoom go through a theme. So it could be panoramics, it could be developing, it could be managing your images, it could be using external editors, for example Photoshop, On1, Luminar, Infinity, Silver Effects, all those type of things, how they work with Classic and the workflow. So we look at different things each week as a part of a theme. Then we have a task, so we'll drill down on a minute action. It could be the tone curve, it could be the color panel, it could be keywording, renaming, and then we end up with our random Lightroom questions, Lightroom Classic and Lightroom questions and answers. And that's what I host this support group for. We're a small community where we come together most weeks, 7 p.m. UK time on a Monday evening, and we look at a theme, a task, and your Lightroom questions. But it's live. Those who attend get the recording so you can see it later, and it's a lifetime joining fee. So if you'd like to come and join us on a Monday evening, just visit lightroommonday.com. There's some more information there, and I look forward to welcoming you there. So now back to the YouTube video. So here we are, we're back in our all imported images, and the first thing I usually do is I select the images that I want to keep by using the picked flag. So we can do this several ways, and there's no right or wrong way of doing it, but I'm going to show you 3 different ways of doing this. So I love this image here. So it's my active image. I've clicked on it, and it's highlighted, and I'm going to press the letter P, and that's picked the image. I'm going to come to the next image. I quite like this image as well, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the paint can tool. So I've come down to the toolbar at the bottom, press T on your keypad if you can't see it, and select toolbar, select the paint can, and from the drop down next to it, select flagged, and make sure it's got flagged on there, and literally just touch the image. Now when you've finished with your paint can, make sure you put it back on the dock, on the toolbar at the bottom, and there it is. And the last way of actually selecting an image with the paint can flagged is if you click on the active image, and top left hand corner there's a little flag. If you click it, it'll make it go a white flag. Okay, so now those are my images here. Let's just make them a little bit smaller for you. There we go. And I'm going to turn on my attributes, and there's my attributes, and I'm going to make sure the filter is on flagged. There's my 3 images. Away we go. So there's my 3 images. But what I do next is I click the plus and I create a new collection. I make sure it's in the birds collection, and I call it 2 because it's the next part of my workflow, and I call it picked. But this is the important bit. Selected images, which are the ones that are selected, and I make them as a virtual copy. Press create. It now creates. Now you could send them to the cloud if you want, but I haven't in this instance. There's the virtual copies. Now the benefit of doing this is we're not moving backwards and forwards our data on our hard drive. These are virtual copies. They're aligning the catalog, so they're working faster and they're not wearing out your hard drive. There's my original images imported. There's my picked images. Now I could, if I wanted to, depending on your workflow and how you want to do this, you could turn around and say, actually, I'm going to create another collection of this image here. So I've selected the image, and I'm going to go plus, create a collection. I'm going to call it 3, close up. Oops, let's put a capital C, close up. Okay, I'm going to make a virtual copy of that one if I wish, or I could use the copy I already got. Now I'm going to edit this image. So we'll click on edit, and let's take some data. So let's open up the shadows a little bit. Let's, for me, just desaturate it slightly, open up the shadows, and then we're just going to put a vignette on it. Sharpen. It's a bit sharp anyway, but there we go. So now I've got this edit of this image, but I could go back and say, right, I'm going to do another edit now of this image, or I could go back to the original, and there's the original image. So I've got total flexibility. I've got different versions, and I've got different easy to work through workflow. Okay, and then when I finished, I could say this image here, this close-up image, the one that I actually did, this one here, that's my final image, and I could put a color flag on it, or sorry, a color label, or I could 5-star it. Okay, so you hit 5 stars, and from that 5 stars, what we could do is we stay in the birds, and I go smart collection. Okay, so let's call it number 9. We're going to call it finished. Okay, and we're going to go is picked, so yes is picked, and we're going to add a star rating. So let's have a look. We've got rating is 5 stars. Create, and there we go. We've got that one image in there. But if I do another one, so let's say I make this image 5 stars, it automatically puts in this collection for me automatically. Okay, now one of the things you can't do is sync this to the cloud because it's a smart collection. But what you could do is we could create another collection. So we're going to select all those images, create a collection, just a normal collection, call it 9 synced finished, because you can't have it the same words. Sync to the cloud, create a virtual copy, press create, and that one is now in the cloud. Okay, but that is a one-time action, so anything that goes else in there, and you can see, look, because they're a virtual copy, it's put them in there again. Okay, so we're not losing images. Okay, so we have this totally flexible way of working with images, and once you finish, you can just delete a collection. You're not deleting the image, you're just deleting your work process of doing your digital asset management, of your editing. And you can make this to anything you want. You can have it local, you can have it in the cloud, you can have multiple copies, and once you've finished, you just delete either the image or the collection, but you're not deleting the actual file. When you want to access the file, so let's say this image here, I don't want at all. We click on the image, show in library, and it takes me to where it is in the library, and that's the file. And if I wish, I can delete it there. Here's all the other pictures are all here. But if I want to move it, I move it in the folders. If I want to delete it, I delete it in the folders. If I want to rename, I rename on import, but you can rename later. Okay, you do all that in the folder structure. Okay, but when you move something, so I move this from this file, from this location here to this location, you're increasing the risk of perhaps your drive disconnects and this file will become corrupted. Okay, or perhaps you drop it in the wrong place and you lose it. So by importing them into the correct place at import, you risk, or you reduce the risk of accidents happening. So I hope that helps you. Please remember lightroommonday.com. Come and join us on one of our support evenings for Lightroom Classic and Lightroom and associated apps. I hope this was of help to you today. I do lots of little videos like this, passing on my years and years of knowledge of workflow of Lightroom and Lightroom Classic. If you like the video, please leave a comment, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I look forward to seeing you next time. You take care, have a safe day. Bye for now.